Imagine devoting the best years of your life to a love, only to realize in the end that you had lived in vain. The narrator of Proust takes us back to his childhood in Cambrai. The house is silent, the night drags on, and a small boy waits in bed for one simple thing: his mother to come and kiss him goodnight. But that kiss often comes late or sometimes not at all. For the child, those moments are not just minutes. They stretch into eternity. Time is felt here for the first time as something painful. The child does not only wait, he imagines. He hears the sound of footsteps that never come, he pictures the door opening again and again in his mind. But reality does not arrive. The waiting grows heavier. Here Proust teaches his first lesson about the nature of time. In waiting, time becomes unbearable. Years later, on an ordinary afternoon, the narrator dips a small cake into his tea, the Madeleine, and suddenly a whole world returns. The streets of Cambrai, the smell of summer evenings, the warmth of his grandmother's presence. Everything that seemed lost rises again in a single taste. But Proust's insight is this: the return is never a perfect copy. Memory does not bring the past back exactly as it was. It rebuilds it through the mind of the present. The recalled moment is at once real and imagined. That is why the Madeleine scene became one of the most famous passages in literature. Because it shows us the past is never gone. It lives on in the shadows of memory. The novel then turns to another story, the love of Charles Swann. Swann is a man of refinement, wealthy and cultured, deeply immersed in art. And Odette, when they first meet, she does not impress him at all. In fact, she seems ordinary to him, not even his type. Yet gradually Odette takes hold of his mind. He begins to wait for her, to think of her constantly. He becomes the center of his life. Proust analyzes love here with striking clarity. Love often does not come from outside but is built inside the mind. Swann falls in love not so much with Odette herself, but with the image of Odette he constructs in his imagination. And this is Proust's hard truth. What we love is not always the person before us, but the figure we create in our minds. But passion never remains stable. Swann's love for Odette soon turns into jealousy. He begins to dwell on her past, to question her friends, to interpret her every gesture. Memory now produces suspicion instead of comfort. A glance, a delay, a word. He replays them endlessly in his mind. And each recollection creates new possibilities. These possibilities grow in his imagination as if they were real. Odette becomes not only the woman he loves but also the center of countless doubts invented by memory. Swann's life is caught in this web, and love becomes not a freedom but a prison. As the years pass, Swann's passion fades. One day, looking back, he realizes the distance between the image of Odette he had built in his mind and the reality of who she was. And he sees that he has spent the best years of his life on an illusion. This is why he utters his famous words: "That great love I had for a woman took from me the best years of my life. And in the end I discovered that I had wasted them, that I had lived in vain." Proust's observation here is sharp. Jealousy ties us not to the loved one, but to the endless possibilities created by memory. Swann's story is not only personal, it unfolds in the world of Parisian society. The salons, the gatherings, the elegant conversations. Outwardly dazzling, inwardly shallow. Swann is drawn into this world, and his relationship with Odette is shaped by it. Love becomes entangled in gossip, appearances, and social games. Here, Proust shows us that time is not only wasted in private obsession but also in the spectacle of society. Behind the bright lights and polished manners lies emptiness. And he asks implicitly, is it time that consumes us, or do we consume ourselves in the presence of others? Swann's Way is the first step of Proust's monumental work. The childhood night of waiting, the Madeleine's memory, Swann's passion, jealousy, and society's masks all circle around one question: what is time? Proust's answer is this: we cannot live time directly. We only sense it in the suffering of waiting or in the broken mirror of memory. Life is never just the present moment. What we live is reshaped later when we remember it. And Proust leaves us with the final question: do we truly live in the present? Or do we only live in what we are able to remember?